Guess what? It's sale time, motherfuckers!
Oh no. I just got my first paycheck.
And it's gone. And welcome back to another Linux Gamecast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week is no exception. Gordon brings the beta goat. But how do you test that which is already broken? Portal 2 gets a mod, and it's a bit timey-wimey. And custom fan controls for your NVIDIA cards. They're hot.
But wait, there's more. Leadwerks reveals their Steam Workshop integration, and they open up the fast track. XCOM drops on Linux and abducts quite a significant chunk of my spare time. And Exalt screams for help, but will Britannia burn one final time?
Yeah, Alienware says Steam machines will increase Linux adoption. To that I say, duh! War Thunder is coming to Linux. But is that a good thing? Open Tomb lets you relive the pixelated archaeological boob simulator. Unfortunately, it won't make you young and gullible again.
And that lovely voice was the Tower of Pedro Mateus. Also, Jordan Quang, as you might know him.
Jordan Schwing.
And joined by Chat Realm Dynamic every week watching us live as you should be. And we, together, form Cocaine Voltron. Before we get started, we like to play a little game of seeing what's been going on in each other's lives. Fun stuff, P-Man. I heard there's this little tiny small hardware outfit that was like, sup, bro? So
Yeah. So I've been sending out emails to hardware, redistributors, creators, whatever you want to call them. And the guys from Asus here in Portugal actually replied and said, yeah, sure thing. Just let us know what you need and we'll be happy to lend some pieces of hardware like pre-built PCs, motherboards, graphics cards for you to test. And I'm like, I need new pants.
Over the phone, it was really awkward, too.
Yeah.
what's going on, J-Man?
Oh, so I'm tired of hitting this thing right here, so I ordered myself a Q mic. And the wonderful Canadian Postal Service said, you weren't at that location you were at for 8 hours every day. So we're going to return this thing to the fucking US. I had to pay $50 for shipping and import for that Q mic too. I'm really pissed off.
And over here in Vinland, not a whole lot. I'm working on building a new standalone, not Steamboxy, but a standalone updated 64 Ubuntu, also SteamOS, like dual boot rig. I believe that's going to be fantastic. I'll probably start on that this upcoming week. But I think we need to pay some bills. And P-Man, I heard you had some ideas.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I started collecting my tiers whenever I make a poor purchase during the Steam sale. I have jars filled with the things now. So I figured, you know what? I might as well make a profit out of it. And I'm going to try and sell the things online. I'm calling the website pedrostickyjars.com. What do you guys think?
Well, I think
that's horrifying.
Need a place to host it, and man, do we have that solution.
Sounds good.
HostGator.com, Snappy loves your tears. They make great loo. Unlimited web hosting. We're talking, seriously, I'm not kidding, man. Unlimited disk space. We host all of our archives there. They're not joking about that. Unlimited bandwidth. It's never been an issue. One-click script installs. Their front end, it's brilliant. 99.9 uptime guarantee. And they're really not joking about that 24/7 tech support. Call them anytime. Somebody will pick up a real human. And I think that's brilliant. But they're 20% off. Yeah.
You know what? I think that's as good as you're going to get. Fuck you.
No. I think we're going to do a little bit better. Because if you enter at checkout with your hosting purchase, LinuxGameCast FTW, and that stands for Fuck the World, Not For the Win of Seizureness, you're going to get $994 off your bundled hosting package. And I think that's a bit of awesome sauce. So, that's enough about Schnappy and his tears and Pedro's lube. How's the horse this
Good
week, my
times.
brother? My brother.
You know, horse is a bit drunk on the wine, I'd say.
Oh, it is. We got to do that PSA?
I guess we
PSA.
have to do the PSA. You know, children, we love educating you about the various
Yes.
happenings of what's going on in Linux gaming. But one thing we don't like is wine abuse. Why don't you tell them about that, Ben?
Gather round, chillins. How my favorite crack is doing this evening. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Xenonauts on Mac and Linux. They, to their credit, came straight out and said, you know, the Mac Linux port, we're using wine as a wrapper, which makes this process more complex than it. No, didn't see that coming, did you? This was sent not by Pizza Hipster, but a different Aaron E. on the Twitter nets. Kossinoff, I believe, pointed me at this, and I kind of, you know, included the development. I was like, what the hell's going on with this? Well, why would you do this in the game that's come 2014 game?
Oh, hold on. Let me act as this guy, Chris England.
Okay.
But then it's more than a little ironic that you can't be bothered to read up on the reasons behind a decision before calling people lazy.
Well, Chris, honestly, my first thought was, you're doing a wine port, so I don't really fucking care what your reasons are. But then, lo and behold, just to make sure I'm being a complete total jackass, did a bit of research. Turns out you picked an engine with no Linux or Mac support and all that business. They didn't have access to the source code, and basically the engine they picked is now defunct. So all I'm hearing is, you know, oh, and this is one of the brilliant things I saw over in the Reddits. They're like, well, it was like 2 years ago, and nobody was really thinking about Linux gaming to you. Fuck you, seriously. I was playing Linux games before Steam. Just, you know, Steam is not, you know, BC-AD type shit, man. All I'm getting from that is we fucked up, and you shouldn't add, you know, hashtag lazy develop to that. I should probably add hashtag cash grab to that, because you want some of that Linux and Mac with wine. You shouldn't get that. No, you cannot have my monies, P-Man.
Here's the thing. Using an engine from 2009 that works for one platform you're targeting, and okay, you don't have to do a lot of work with that engine, but it hasn't been updated in like 3 years. So instead of using an engine that requires a bit of fiddling but actually gives you a better experience when it comes to supporting more than one platform, if that's not laziness, I don't know what is. Also, ironically, I'm not sure Chris knows what the word ironic means.
Well, you see, Pedro, it's like Ray Yane on your wedding day, and a free
Yes.
ride already paid.
Well, you know, how about a horse on a flight or something?
How about a horse being abducted by UFOs? It's aliens in our scheme.
Lex!
Update
of the week. All right, so this first one, Euro Truck Simulator developers. He maybe got himself a 1-year ban because he was talking to Steam Valve about a particular security flaw that allows you to redirect people to, say, a malicious website while you're having a sale on something. So he decided, you know what? No, they're not having any traction on there. I'm going to do something about it. And so he made his Steam page redirect people to the Harlem Shake video. And it's all well and good. Joke. Valve didn't think so, and they banned his account for a year, violating terms of service. Now, here's the thing: if any of you have taken an InfoSec class, you know that you can't really go around doing this because publishing exploits, even if it's just a benign thing to show that it's there, is legally and contractually a really sticky situation. You don't know what kind of legalese they have in place. You don't know what kind of policies. You don't even know if they're gonna thank you or fucking try to sue you.
Yeah, and
Ultimately,
when it comes to the Steam end user license agreement, it specifically prohibits any sort of public revealing of a security flaw. It's right there, that thing that nobody reads.
Yeah,
Right there.
I mean, like, I understand why he did it. I don't think anyone's particularly at fault, but this guy should have known what he was getting into. The moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, never try.
That's the thing. This whole thing, what he did, it's like...
Also, to be fair, they did unban his account recently, so...
Yeah, they did. But he's like, I kept telling you to lock the front door. You didn't listen, so I went in and stole all your stuff. What do you mean I'm under arrest? That's kind of what he did.
I wouldn't say it's that serious, but yes, J-Man is 9,000% correct with don't do that. And it's a good thing this got picked up, because if not, he would still have a 51-week ban left to deal with. So from the company that first Steambox will run Windows, don't they have something brilliant to say, P-Man?
Indeed they do. So coming from PC Games N, which is a website I'm not a very big fan of, the guys from Alienware, or specifically a gal from Alienware, which I cannot for the life of me remember her name. Here it is. Mark Diana. Oh, it's a guy. They kept calling her him Diana. Never mind. So he says, according to the interview he gave to the PC Games N guys at E3, Linux adoption will increase 20 to 30-fold with the introduction of the Steam machines. You don't fucking say.
I'm sure the Steam Alpha will revolutionize the world of $550 footrests. That's what I got. That's what I got from that article.
Pretty much. Also, Alienware, the company that, when it comes to Linux gaming, was pretty much irrelevant, is now trying to make themselves relevant. It's like they're taking notes from Phil Fish.
I don't know. I'm looking at this business, and you know,
but you see, Pedro, women are stupid.
He's single, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not.
Oh, that's referencing some other crap with Phil Fish from earlier this week.
Right, I know.
Yes.
That's surprisingly, I'm sure Phil might also be single.
I wonder why.
No, when it comes to this business, when Valve put some weight behind this, but like I said, we had the Valve boy last week, and
Steam boy.
Yeah, we don't know exactly where this is going to go until we really see these things blown out there and put out there, and mass adoption. I mean, this is all speculation sauce, far as I'm concerned. But what's this about?
Lead on, man. Lead on.
Okay, so Leadwerks Game Engine 3.2 is out, and they have a nifty new feature. This is Steam Workshop. It's their Steam integration for Leadwerks. If you're developing your game using that particular tool set, you might have contributed to the Kickstarter or maybe heard of it through our show. But what it does is it opens up the entire Steamworks library to you, of like assets and whatnot. It even supports like taking existing assets, modifying them, and then republishing them. The idea is to create a large community repository of game art and game assets that anyone can use, and that's not a bad idea.
It's kind of awesome, actually.
It's a terrific idea. One thing that does concern me, though, if you read in the article, they say that Steamworks integration provides a fast track for getting your games into the store, which means you get to bypass Greenlight or even the approval process, and that worries the fuck out of me. I mean,
yeah.
We've seen what happens with the approval process, what kind of shit flies under the radar, and now you're saying, oh yeah, if you use Leadwerks, you don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm concerned that this will create an influx of really shitty games just crowding up the Steam store.
Clones.
Oh, it has Linux support. All these Linux games are shit. Why should I even support this? It's this whole chain of events that could possibly happen. Yes, it's incredibly speculative, but at the same time, look at what happened with Unity. Look, just go on to Sura and search Unity.
Here's my thing. I mean, excellence on Leadwerks, however you want to enunciate that, for actually having a native editor for Linux. We don't see that with Unity. We're going to eventually see it with Unreal 4.
Well, I mean, the community more or less already did most of the heavy lifting on that. So,
and my biggest thing with Leadwerks is, where's the Linux games, bro?
Yeah.
Still waiting on that killer Leadwerks app.
I'm just waiting on the games. Not seeing
But
that.
you know what, Ben? That's too bad.
It's a thing! So, is Goat Simulator done yet? No, it's in beta, according to Iculus's site, with a goat with shades from 9gag. I just lost a little respect for the Gordon. Been playing it for, 2 days now, and it's fun on our octo-core $770. Everything on 11. No real issues. The only hard nopes I've seen is when you try to transport to a different area. It just straight nopes on me. Found a few, a lot of the glitches were like, I wouldn't call that a bug. This is Goat Simulator. It's bugs, the game.
Yeah, it was working fine for me too on the NVIDIA box. So when I go to the Steam box running the open source AMD drivers on my APU, it was pretty choppy even when I knocked the quality all the way down. The other thing I noticed is that if you don't try and play this game with a controller support is completely fucked in this. Like there are things you can do with the goat that there are just not buttons on here for. That's the long and short of it. Play it with a keyboard and mouse. It's a bit shit that all the did the local co-op work? I haven't tried that out. Anyone give that a shot?
No, not yet.
No. Oh well, I'll get back to you next week with that one then. But it's time to phone home.
Yes.
This thing.
Oh no, the aliens are coming!
Oh, dude, the aliens are coming and they will fucking blow your head up. This is XCOM Enemy Unknown and the DLC XCOM Enemy Within. This is a pretty big game. This actually came out either earlier this year or just outright last year, but this is another AAA game that came out on Linux. This makes what, number 4?
Original
Number 3?
release date October 8th, 2012.
2012.
Ooh.
So it's a fairly recent game, I'd say. They got that poured out in a timely manner, and it runs pretty well. I was playing the tutorial earlier. It did. I did have to wait a while because apparently the Toronto server for Steam is completely ballsed up. It took about 2 days for that download to finish.
Peanut, I heard you had some issues with the bits.
Yes, I did. So the Mac and Windows versions of the game support 32-bit. Linux? Fuck that shit. This is the future. 64-bit for everybody.
Which I, for one, have no problem with because, yes, 4 years ago, I would say perfectly valid. I mean, if you had the resources to build a gaming rig just for Linux, make it a 32-bit box to save yourself the damn headaches. Because back in those days, we were just dealing with library dependency hell for a lot of things. Wine was almost completely busted on 64-bit. But now, I would like to see like Valve taking a stand and saying everything Half-Life 3 64-bit only. Something like that.
Well, SteamOS is technically 64-bit only.
Woo, multi-lib. Speaking of libraries, once this thing came out, the first thing I did was I popped into their forums. Is this a native port? Yes, it is. You can check that link out in the show notes.
And one of the brilliant things is we have a hate mail contact section, and I get up and it drops into this completely separate box because I don't want P-Man and J-Man to get spammed by all the crap we get, and I just forward whoever needs whatever. I was like, what's this? And they're like, hello, would you like to review our... Yes.
Yes.
and of course, before Ven tells me this, and before this game goes on sale on Friday, I'm like, oh, I should pick this up. I'll buy the complete pack because I want to give the devs money. Then the second I click submit purchase, I get the email. It just sort of clicks in my brain. Wait, the Steam sale is starting today. God, fuck, damn. So if we get 3 keys, then we're probably gonna have a contest in a way of give.
Yeah,
we'll be giving those away in time. So
time. I
don't want to go. I'm thinking with Time Machine. What is this? This is a Portal 2 mod. Thinking with Time Machine is a Portal 2 mod. What I just said. Ditto.
Oh, hi, Tom Baker.
Oh, right. And you will find the use of a time machine to create a twin of yourself from the past to help you solve puzzles, the past of self-accuracy, repeats, mechanics. Yeah, downloaded this. It's about a gigajoule in size. It definitely looks a bit amateurish on the stuff that they created themselves. Like, there we go. But my biggest issue was, fuck all am I supposed to be doing? I'm not a huge fan of tutorials, all right? I get the whole joke, for the peasants who play consoles with, like, the billions, like, here's how you do everything. Not a huge fan of that, but just the smallest fuck mothering of hints. Like, use this button to activate whatever you're holding in your hand. As opposed to, like, we're just going to hit everything. All right, let's go to the controls. What's this supposed to do? How am I supposed to fucking... It just drops you in and says, have fun. And with something that involves this type of mechanics with a portal gun and yourself and a clone and all that, maybe throw a little bit extra in. But, you can't really complain because this clocks in at the perfect price, which is not.
Yep.
If you have Portal 2, pick this up. Conk around with it. Maybe you'll enjoy it. I didn't loathe it. I didn't like it.
You just didn't really know what you were doing.
Right. I didn't like it enough to bother to try to figure out exactly what I was supposed to be doing. So we'll just call that laziness on that. But thunder!
Go Thundercats! Or
Well, let's just take a listen to this little bit here.
First game ever to have so many platforms working in cross-play environment, all in one server. PS4, Mac, PC, Linux, it doesn't matter. You can totally play it.
That's right. War
Oh, that's pretty nifty.
Yeah. Well, what the hell is War Thunder, P-Man? I never heard of it.
War Thunder, according to its Steam store page, is a next-generation MMO combat game dedicated to World War II military aviation, armored vehicles, and fleets. So, basically, it's another action shooter type thing with a heavy focus on vehicles rather than the gun fantasy that, American developers seem to have when it comes to, first-person shooters. So the first thing I did when I saw the thread on Linux_gaming that the game was getting a Linux port was go all the way down on the Steam store page and start reading the reviews. And I did not like what I see.
Down, 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 down.
Everything was negative. Okay.
Well, I mean, it does clock in at a good enough price, being, cheap as free. But if you take a look at some of that pay-to-win content, geez, that's like full game price for DLC. That's kind of nuts. But of course, if you want to crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women, you're pretty much gonna have to fork out. What was it? $57?
Yep. 50.98 euros. Son of a bitch.
Definitely not looking forward to that. I mean, we will absolutely do a players of the free version.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Achtung, Panzer!
Get the Panzer Schreck!
So, yeah, my first Unity game, the game.
Yes.
Oh man, this is Fancy Skulls. I gotta pull up the freaking description for these guys because this is priceless. All right. So, Fancy Skulls is a challenging first-person shooter with procedural generation, permanent death, and a distinct art style. Straight from my fifth grader's napkin to your eyes. I mean, like...
So you say you're not visually impressed by this?
I think I was able to draw better when I was a retarded 3-year-old.
Hey, look, it's that guy from, Triangle Head, but he's a bit...
Oh, yeah, no, it looks like Adventure Time if, like, a developmentally disabled kid tried to come up with something for it.
I'm getting kind of sick of these busted, no-textured art styles, and it was like, oh, no, it's innovative.
Plus, this thing is early access and has partial controller support, so it's a quality product.
Well, that's
the reviews seem mostly positive, though, so it might be worth a shot.
Right. 1004, 2 gigs, 5. Yeah, P-Man, you're picking it up, or you're buying it.
Here's the thing. As the moment I read procedurally generated rooms, so no level is ever the same. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll drink to that.
Take a shot, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so Pedro, this next one comes from Portugal.
Portuguese game development at its finest. Detective Case and Clown Robot
So Portugal finally got a computer? That's awesome.
Detective Case and Clown Robot in poorly translated from Portuguese title, because the original game, it doesn't translate to that. Let's just call it that. So,
well, no. Tell us what it translates to, Pedro. I've been dying to hear this all week.
No.
Do it. Do it.
The game in Portuguese is called Crime no Hotel Lisboa. And the detective is actually called Zé, and the robot has a name, but they forgot to mention that. So it's a point and click to the retro hipster pixel graphic game.
Linux Hero. He has his penis under his coat.
It's actually made by a pair of Portuguese guys. What
the hell could they possibly have spent their advertisement budget on?
Yes. They spent their entire publicity budget on that thing you see right there on screen. It's a building-sized poster for the game.
So is that actually anywhere near you? Did you get a...
It's in Lisbon. It's not exactly near me, but I saw their post on Facebook, and I'm like, you know what? You guys just blew all your money away, so I'll give you a free plug, and here it is. That's all.
So how much can you buy this for, Pedro?
You can.
You can, actually. You can buy it on Desura right now for $9.99, but it will only be available on Steam July 17th. So keep that in mind.
So I think our horse is done with its language lesson for this week, J-Man.
Yeah, I know. I think it's time to give it back to the aliens for some anal probage. Coming up next, it's all about the engine rewrites on the news section.
And we're back with some actual good old run-of-the-mill news. And starting us off this week, we have Mr. Van Stone.
Talking about windmills, ironically enough.
Windmill, NVIDIA fan speed script for the Linux. This is something which was posted, not ironically, at Blender Artist.
Go on.
Here's the brilliant thing. I mean, you might want to use this if your GPU is too loud. This is only for NVIDIA cards, by the way, so just note out if you have Pedro's hardware. What this does is it gives you a different curve for adjusting what your temps are versus what you're rendering, or if you're playing games and all that. But one thing I like about this is you can go back and adjust your own curves. So you don't want to trust, what your fan speed is versus the temp and all that. You can keep an eye, because sometimes these 770s, when they go just like fuck you mode, I mean, they turn into Dustbuster Simulator 9000s. And you could probably take those fans down, 200 or 300 and still not really fuck with the temps that much. So this is going to be kind of brilliant. This will be in the show notes along with everything else. He's got the code. It's open source over at code.google.com, and get you some of that goodness. I think it's a neat little thing. It's a Python script. So Hiss and Steve. Excellent.
So for those of you who don't know what Exalt is, you might have heard of a game series called Ultima. It's been around since the 80s. Very prolific RPG series. And these guys at Exalt have taken upon themselves to do a complete STL rewrite not STL rewrite, complete rewrite of the Ultima 7 engine to be all cross-platform and whatnot. But development has slowed down over the past couple of years to the point where it's essentially inexistent. You're not going to get... I mean, there's still a lot of bugs every time they have a new release. There's a ton more bugs, and they just don't have the manpower. This project has been going on for 10 years now. and
Yeah.
it's just kind of run out of steam. So they put out a final call. Anyone who wants to help out or contribute code should definitely go and do so. And I mean, Ultima 7 is considered by many to be one of the best computer RPGs ever made, period. So it'd be a bit sad to see this project go to the dogs. I'd like to see it preserved for the future.
But in the age of perpetuated nostalgia, thanks in part to Kickstarter, I'm actually surprised they didn't find, like a 30-something-year-old dev with a couple of spare hours a day to help him develop the thing.
Well,
surprising.
Some hipster pixel goodness. Well, see, that's the problem with our current generation of hipster pixel. They don't like the real stuff because that, size constraints. You're dealing with like real business like you did way back in the Moon Ages.
Or you could do Saturday morning RPG with 3D backgrounds and 2D foregrounds.
Indeed,
Yes.
500-600 mega downloads. So help those guys out. If you know somebody, scream at a cat, scream at your friends, xsalt.sourceforge.net. I don't want to see this go the way of fresh meat. But Russians, comrades.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you remember that one time those Russians went back in time and assassinated Albert Einstein, causing an entirely different parallel timeline in which the Cold War lasted until this very day? Yeah, that was kind of a crazy Tuesday. But you can check out OpenRA. This one is an SDL2 rewrite of the Red Alert engine, Command & Conquer. Very, very popular real-time strategy game back in the day. They have a new release. Has a whole whack of improvements. Highlights include significant UI improvements for selecting mods, game lobbies, replays, and spectating. They've drastically decreased the load times, so that's always good. Aircraft and helicopters can now attack, move, guard, and be guarded by ground units. And various improvements to the various mods they have. They have a Tiberian Sun mod, they have a GTK mod, and their Red Alert mod. So, I mean, it's a big release. You should go check it out if you're a Red Alert fan. Pedro, you're not too pleased with it.
It's not that I'm not pleased. It's okay. Ultima 7, I get. The story we're going to talk about next, I get. But is there really a big original Red Alert following that justifies the constant pummeling of Red Alert's corpse at this point?
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, that hate mail can be sent to Pedro at LinuxGameCast.com.
You can send your snail mail to 123.
Right. No, I like this business. I like that it's still going. I downloaded this a while back, built me a copy of it, and, it does what it says on the tin. And I was never really into this business when it first came out. It's retro and fun in the real way, not in our current hipster pixel way. So, if you're into that.
I played quite a bit of Red Alert 2 back in the day. I enjoyed that one. But
I like the FPS one. The FPS Command & Conquer. I like that one. But
the one for the PlayStation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never played
Well,
that one.
comrades, let's take a look at Soviet, non-Soviet retro moves. Very much from Root Gamer.
Yes, rootgamer.com. Apparently someone at Rootgamer decided, you know what? We're going to be looking at a engine re-implementation that no one's ever heard of. At least I had never heard of it. And this is OpenTomb, Lara on Linux. And it is basically a re-implementation of the classic Tomb Raiders 1 through 5, if I'm not mistaken, that uses...
Wait a minute, are you telling me we can play something from the mid-90s natively without a wine wrapper?
Correct.
I know, it's
an
it's
emulator.
fucking crazy.
They basically rebuilt the core design engine from the 90s with better collision detection, some better physics, everything.
No
They
movement
tried to
animations,
improve it.
apparently.
Yeah, the graphics are still the same because guess what? You still have to use the original art assets. Now, I actually found my Sega Saturn CD for the original Tomb Raider, but I couldn't find a way to extract the art assets from it, so I couldn't test it.
I like this. I think this is brilliant. I mean, I stumbled across it. There's build instructions, all that, CMake, which is a lot better than it was like 4 or 5 years ago. It's manageable. You do need those art assets, like P-Man said, and yeah, talk about nostalgia right there. I mean, I remember playing that in the DOS ages, you know, and it was like, well, she had completely unrealistic. I was like, it looked like
traffic cone pylons for breasts.
They look like pyramids.
Calling whatever that was, like, male or female. It was like, whatever, man. I mean, it could have been a she-male for all I know.
It's a character.
But I think this
with
works
pyramids.
with 1 through 5, and it looks pretty straightforward and simple to set up. So I think that's a bit of neat sauce. Wanted to give that project a mention. But
yeah, and Nori is a pretty big fan of Tomb Raider, so she's probably going to make the most use of this when we finally move in together.
Giggity.
Oh. What were you saying, Ben? Up next, you notice how we're all one color? We're all white guys. Coming up next, Monochroma.
Not really white.
We're back, and we're throwing the chairquisition chairs at Monochroma, a game that's been out for some time now, but just recently got controller support.
Yep.
So we're giving it the business. It's developed by Nowhere Studios. It's on the ubiquitous Unity engine, and you can pick it up for $19.99, but it's on sale now because of the Steam sales, and will be on sale for varying costs. So check out throughout the week. So what is it? Monochroma is a cinematic puzzle platformer. It's a game about being a kid growing up with a little brother that needs your help and can't fend for himself, facing obstacles and solving unique puzzles in a dystopian blah 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 blah. So, chair explanation. We have this little crazy chair metric that we have and use. 1 chair means that it's shit. 2 chairs means that it's meh. 3 chairs means that's pretty good, and 4 chairs means shut up, take my money, it's awesome, I love it. And of course we have our 4 categories of doom, makes with the working, shiny sounds, controls, and fun. And our fun category is subjective, because remember, we're 3 different people on 3 different sets of hardware, running 3 different Linux distributions. So you're going to get a wide gamut of opinions. So then, Monochroma, makes with the working, does it.
On our base test system, still, but it might be getting upgraded soon. Ubuntu 12.04, 32-bit LTS, running a pair of 770s, octo-core box of business. I gotta say that Monochroma, ran without an issue. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to throw 4 chairs at that direction.
Yeah, I gave it the business, downloaded it, installed it, started it up, ran, no issues.
What'd you run it on?
I ran it on my Fedora 20 powered 670 superclocked AMD 1090T gaming PC here. I also gave it the business on my AMD A10 5800K. That one was a bit choppy, but this is AMD performance on open source drivers for you. But it's entirely playable. So 4 chairs.
For the business.
For the business.
Yeah.
And from
on my
Spaceport
calculator with an i3 370M, an AMD 5650 HD mobility Radeon, and running Aurora 2032-bit. It ran out of the box, no problems running it per se. So 4 chairs.
So that's 4 chairs for makes with the working. Shiny and sounds. Ben, how did you like Monochroma?
You know,
speaking of which, let's play a game. Every time anyone mentions Limbo during the review, you take a shot.
Fair enough.
And there were no survivors. The end.
Speaking of Limbo, take a shot. I've never played Limbo, take a shot. Until this week. So Monochroma was, to me, looking hella neat. Then G-Man, what do you want to call him, released the Linux port of Limbo, take another shot, and I went, oh, right. Because Ryan even asked, someone on the Steam forums asked if there would be DLC for Limbo Take Another Shot. Try to imagine what DLC for Limbo would look like. And, I was like, no, ridiculous. Probably a red scarf, to be perfectly honest with you. Saying this game was heavily inspired by Limbo Take Another Shot would be an understatement. Performance completely all over the place. Just for the shiny. I mean, there's places where all kind of business is taking place. Everything's fine. Then it's like, oh, look, there's a raindrop of a puddle of something like that. And it's like, let's get really slow. And this is one of those games where you're like, I would actually like an option to set VSync or an option to go above 1080p. But no, you're not going to find that for your shiny. It looks fine. Like I said, at first I said, I love this art style. It's completely unique and original. And my dreams were shattered once I got to play Limbo and take another shot. So I'm going to say the sounds were nice, graphics were nice. I'm going to give it a 3, even though it kind of borderlines on like cloning something. J-Man?
My favorite Futurama character is Hermes because of all the Limbo stuff he does. Personally, I like to go to parties and enjoy a good Limbo. That's why I went to the Tropics, had a Limbo competition there. I'm just trying to kill whoever's actually playing the game right now. Shiny and sounds. Pretty much what Ven said. I mean, performance was a bit erratic on the Steam box, more stable on this box here, the 670 superclocked one. The art style, yeah, I kind of dug the art style. It has this sort of dystopian, bleak feel, which I kind of feel fits the tone of the game. The music, the soundscape was all right. Nothing particularly comes to mind. Yeah, the game looks fine for what it is. But yeah, I would say it's 3 chairs bordering on 2, but I'm gonna be a little generous because why the hell not? 3 chairs.
Yeah, and really, it's like Ven said, it is rather obvious they took a little more than inspiration away from when they played Limbo, and it's really the only problem I have is how the game, its looks are rather uninspired because they have been done before. Better. Just saying. Also, the sounds, the ambient noise in Limbo is pretty good. This one, yeah, it's there, it's just not very good. So, 3 chairs.
And that's 3 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. Controls! How did this control? Did you feel that your character was in limbo, or did you feel like you had full control over him?
Well, the controls for Limbo... Oh, shit, wrong game. Actually, the controls for Limbo work flawlessly. Controls for this, with the XCOM 360 controller, hella muddy, and that's being generous. You don't do anything fast, and we keep going to say Limbo, because I played that for the first time this week. You can do things in Limbo, like run around quickly, grab things, move things, drop things, all that. Fuck that with this game. No, you need to be in front of something. If you're going to do that action. Jumping, grabbing things, good luck. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And you can't rebind shite. So you're stuck with whatever layout that's picked for your particular controller organ. And this, I find, completely unacceptable in 2014 when we have perfectly valid options like SDL2. I mean, you are genuinely trying to give Iculus, Ryan C. Gordon, a mothering aneurysm by not using it. I mean,
it is fun to try to do that.
It's free, and it's fully fucking developed, and it has been tested with more fuck-mothering controllers than you have laying around your indie studio. I promise you. So, all that said, 2 chairs, J-Man.
So, I had Mexican food recently. I went to the local taco stand. I had my fill. The next day, I had the most awful bowel movement. and there was this persistent state of mud on my asshole. And I would say that the controls to Monochroma are muddier than that. I mean,
have you ever heard of wiping?
No, fuck you. I don't wipe my ass. I just let it linger there for days at a time. Hi, NSA. Need some blackmail material? You got it. But no, I mean, like, even gravity works weird in this game. If you're there's that one thing at the beginning of the game where you have to like vault off a log. If you're falling on the log and you're trying to jump, the gravity will stick you onto the log until it hits the grinder. It's just really frustrating to do anything in this game because hell, even jump arc is inconsistent because sometimes you'll make a jump, sometimes you won't, using essentially jumping from the exact same place. I am not a fan of this control scheme. Like Ven said, you can't rebind anything. Unacceptable in 2014. It's just not fun to control this game. It wasn't really well thought out. Doesn't work all that well. I'm gonna give that 2 chairs just because you can at least play the game. That's a positive, I guess.
Yeah, it's really the only redeeming point about the controls in this game because, like you guys mentioned, it's
they'll kill
now.
you too. Like the controls will just outright murder you for no reason.
Yeah. Having no rebindability and the fact that instead of start on my DualShock PS2 controller, instead of start, this button right here shaped like an arrow, that one, to open the menu, I have to use the right bumper button, aka R1 on this specific controller. That's not standard behavior.
So you're saying you already knew you were going to have a bad time?
Yes. And movement, Jordan already sort of touched on this. Movement has the exact same problem as it did in the Kickstarter demo. Namely, the fact that your character seems to only be affected by physics when they're ragdolled after death. Like, the example that Jordan mentioned is probably one of the best. If you jump on the log while it's falling into the grinder, it'll stick you to the log. Just won't let you leave, won't let you do anything. You'll just stuck there until it hits the grinder, then you can jump off. It doesn't look good. It's 2014. You guys are using Unity. They have a physics engine. 2 chairs.
That's 2 chairs for control. And our final subjective category, fun. Ben, did you enjoy Limbo? I mean Monochroma. I mean Limbo. I mean Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Take a look at this. So many things taken directly off the palette of Limbo. I mean, it's not a shot for shot.
What you mean black and white?
Right. The style, the feel of it.
Totally different.
Right. Now with more Scarfs DLC available 2015. The bro mechanic, yes, that's new. That's different. That's something that might be made completely out of awesome sauce if the controls weren't so busted. That you can only set that little fucker down in light. And I was like, well, why did we pick that mechanic? Fuck all idea I know. Just to fuck with you, I'm guessing at the end of the day. Take another shot. Because, how do we put this? It just adds an unneeded mechanic, another layer of difficulty that you really don't want to be arsed with. And you shouldn't be arsed with if you bought this at full price, which would be 20 wet, stinky cashes. I would be flipping another damn table. But instead of doing that, it is playable. It's not busted, but it's not exactly what I would call fun. It's tolerable. Maybe if you like being frustrated. So I'm not going to give this 1 chair, but I'll give this 2 chairs with an asteroid, or an asterisk, or whatever her name is.
Yeah, this game just doesn't do it for me. Honestly, the brother mechanic is annoying because this is literally like carrying a coma patient with you. and he just becomes such a burden that you just stop caring about his well-being. You're supposed to get attached to him because he's your little brother. Or
Maybe
whatever.
they were trying to simulate Lindsay Lohan.
Maybe. So I'll share an anecdote from while I was playing the game. There's a part in the game where you have to essentially move a minecart down a track, and you have to do some stuff to find a spot to put your little brother. I didn't know this at first, so I put my little brother down. I go up, I release the minecart, and then I watch as it runs him down and crushes him. And then I think for a second, oh wait, that's a bad thing, isn't it? I mean, like this kid is the most useless human being on the planet, and it just adds a level of nuisance to all the challenges. Because it's like, oh, I can't leave the next area because he won't be able to see me. Oh, I have to put him down in light. Oh, he doesn't like being wet. Blah 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 blah. I don't care. I just want to jump from thing to thing and solve physics puzzles. And even this game does it kind of screwy. There's a part Pedro will talk about where he got stuck. I got stuck there too because the game wouldn't recognize when I was trying to jump through a window. It took me 4 tries to get the exact pixel position where I needed to be to break through a window. It's just very, very, very annoying. The game is not fun at all. I can only give it 1 share because that's what it deserves for fun.
Yeah, so that part that Jordan just mentioned, on my end, I can't even get up to the catwalk because it starts out when you get into the cryogenics warehouse. There's a bunch of kids inside of cryotubes. And you jump down, and you're supposed to pull down one of the levers. Then jump on the generator, jump on the catwalk to the left, and then jump on the catwalk that is slowly lowering down while running away from the grunt that comes after you. Except on my end, it goes
You
way
can't
too
even
fast.
throw your little brother at the grunt either. Like, you're kind of helpless against him.
Yeah.
You're in a
He
warehouse full of
comes-
like crowbars and shit. Whip one at his head.
On my end, he comes way too fast. The catwalk lowers way too fast. There's nothing you can do except make a video of it, tell it to the developers, and look at them being clueless as to why it happens. Okay, so I was trying to finish this game for the review. Unfortunately, Native Limbo came out for Linux this week. I finished that one all over again instead. 1 share.
So that's 1 chair for fun. So if we tally up all these chairs of doom that we've thrown in this chairquisition, you get 2 chairs. So I think we want to stick an asteroid at the end of that. Then final thoughts.
If this thing goes 90% off, pick it up. If you buy it for the full 20 wet stinking hashes, you suck up. Controller
You're a
support,
jive ass turkey.
not using SCL2, so, I mean, it's a platform. They just introduced controller support. When they first started, they said, well, our controller support was busted, we're working on it. And I was like, great. And then they're like, oh, yeah, we're using that Unity built-in shit. And I was like, fuck you. And
Yep.
that's kind of where I'm at now. I mean, the game needs a fuckload of work to get to the point to where it's playable. And what P-Man was saying, I played Limbo. Limbo is, wow, this is kind of a neat fuck you hard type game. And I can take that inspiration. And it did not translate well over to what they were trying to do, which I get what they were trying to do. They just, in my humble opinion, and correct me if I'm right, failed miserably.
Yes.
J-Man?
I see what they were going with this game. I see what they were trying to do, and ultimately it could have worked with a different execution, but this implementation of what they were trying to do just fails. It falls flat on its face. The controls are just completely muddy. It's not a pleasant experience to play this game. It just becomes frustrating once you have to go back to the very beginning of the level, and you have to run all the way across, but you're running at this really half-cock speed. You go, and then you have the little brother on your back who slows you down even more. It's just, this game is a nuisance. That's the word I would use to describe it. It is annoying, and I wouldn't recommend that. Maybe if you want to play through it, if you want to see how the story ends, good for you. It didn't capture me very quickly, so I just put it down after an hour. I was done.
What's
Pedro.
your thoughts on this fantastic Unity game?
Yes, it is a Unity game, MT. Okay. I'll give them the fact that the little brother mechanic could be an asset to the game. It could be something that, if done properly, would actually bring a whole new level of interaction with the world and making you feel like you actually care about the characters.
And to be honest with you, Pedro, pig may taste like pumpkin pie, but I'll never know.
Yes, precisely. The execution fell far, far short of ideal. The little brother becomes a chore. At that point, he's just a chore. And then the controls don't help, and the graphics were very, very uninspired. The sound, it was passable, but it was not anything beyond that, so I'm sorry. Like Vince said, if it goes like 90% off or 85% off or something, pick it up. Otherwise, steer clear.
We got some hate entitlement up next.
Oh, absolutely. Coming up next, live on air, like the man said, hate mail.
And with those monochromatic chairs put right back into its monochromatic warehouse, we get into our hate mail. And just as a quick reminder, if you'd like to get in touch with us, please do go on over to LinuxGameCast.com, press that lovely contact button on the nav bar there. Just fill out your name, fill out your email, give us a subject, give us your message, prove that perhaps you're smarter than a bot. If you're not, ask someone beside you to help you. You know, it helps. Although, if you are trying to promote green lights, Kickstarters, Indiegogos, whatever, include a demo, alpha, prototype, anything that lets us play your game. Because if you don't, we'll probably make fun of you. All right? Okay. So apparently we have someone with ADD.
Yeah, I know. Kevin Lynch writes in, he says, "Nobody gives a shit if you're moving house. Got bored, stopped watching. This is the internet where you have 10 seconds or less to grab people's interest." Well, it's funny that you bring it up because our new podcast that's starting next week should excite and titillate you. It's Linux Portuguese Real Estate Cast.
Wait, nope. I got communications from. Yep, this just in. We have confirmation of this poster and what he looks like. Yep, there he is. Definitely got to say that I.
What does that say for the audio listeners, Ven?
It says, "Shut up, you faggot! I'm going to fuck you in the face." And he's
it's pronounced Fajot. Thank you very much.
Fajot.
Yeah, that's one thing I was kind of worried about. I don't like doing. In a past life, I was a graphic designer. I know, frightening. I don't like doing overly elaborate, shiny, sparkly, like cap images for YouTube. Because it attracts fuckwits like that. They're like, yellow swag, bro, faggot. If they don't have like quick cuts, you know, and shit like that, bouncing around, it's like blink. They're like, oh, this is a fucking long form show about Linux. Fuck mothering gaming, and yes, it's not for 12-year-olds because you don't have any money to donate to us. So fuck yourself.
And hey, it is kind of a big deal to me, and if I don't tell it to the internet, where will I hope to obtain the same sense of validation?
Oh, no one cares, Pedro. I stopped listening to you like 10 minutes
Jordan.
ago.
So this isn't hate mail so much, but yeah, we had to throw this in here, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This is from Chakok. And he says, this is regarding the game together, Amna and Saif. Saif? I don't know. So, I'm the creator of Together, Amna and Saif. We recently reached our funding goal and added stretch goals, including Linux support. And I'm going to stop right there, because you know what's coming up next.
Oh, yeah. In fact, someone on Facebook, one of our fans on that supposedly dead page that is Facebook, said, "From now on, when someone says Linux version stretch goal for Kickstarter, it should refer to when a developer is going to stretch out their butthole so I can start kicking them directly in the poop." Just a thought I had while reading this AMA. Seems like a decent fellow, and I don't want to believe him, and I want to believe him, but you either plan it from the beginning so you can do it right, or don't do it at all.
Now, to be fair,
Thumbs
this
up,
game
dude.
is this game is written in XNA, and our good friend has an interesting little tool out, and someone brings it up in the Reddit thread. If you haven't heard of it, it's called FNA, and it is essentially a fork of Monogame that is a drop-in replacement for XNA 4.
But you got to appreciate this first post on Brad here. It says, why is this a stretch goal? Question mark. And what language is your game written in? I'm guessing it's money. And if you don't know, I'm Ickle, ICLW. You don't want to know what that stands for. That was me in a different life. A whole lot of this I wrote back to Kickstarter projects I did. Skullgirls. At this point, they just pretend it was never a thing. And Carmageddon Reincarnation. We'll give it to
They have some concept art that's
10
pretty nice.
years, in about 10 years, maybe, we'll get a demo.
And then we have that whole Road Rash thing that's out that I backed that, and they were like, yeah, Linux support, Road Redemption, that was it. And they're like, we're also going to get around to that. Here's the problem. If you don't start with something that's open source, see, I'll forgive Star Citizen. Why? Because Star Citizen started going, all right, this is going to be CryEngine business. We know it's coming out for Linux. It's not out yet. Still threw money at that, going, these guys aren't going to fuck me over. But if you're using your standard, a lot of your tools, your Unities, you can get people to port Unreal 3, trust me, Ryan C., throw him somewhat stinky, FNA Monogame, all that business, flippity, do that, start cross-platform. Don't go, I'm going to do this for Windows, then maybe we can get around. I believe you. You have the best fuck-mothering intentions in the world, but we've covered more of this bullshit than you've developed games.
Oh, yeah.
That's the reality of the situation, as they may say. And more often than not, 9 times out of 13, it at best might get ported 2 years later, or you might get a one-off port that eventually has no support whatsoever. Fuck mothering ever.
But I mean, even then, like developing with a cross-platform toolchain from the very beginning has the added benefits of why wouldn't you want to support more platforms? Why wouldn't you want more people buying your game?
Linux is hard, you know.
You don't even have to code in all the Linux crap. Just get the base work done, and then later on you can come back to the same code base, and 99% of the crap will still work.
DirectX is easy, you know, and it's all I was taught in my game development.
I need visual phasing to program video games.
So, P-Man,
anyways, moral of the story.
I hear Josh Bush has something to talk about our fall review.
Indeed.
The cheesiness.
So he says, quick question. Was this recorded prior to custom gamepad bindings getting implemented? Yes, in the game. I spotted one shot which was from content cut from the game early in development, or was that sourced from the Kickstarter pitch video? I've been talking with John about mouse capture / control, and whilst I don't make any decisions, I'm hoping that there'll be some. So do I, because I really want to finish that game. I like the premise of that game, having an AI suit trying to save the human pilot. I like it. I want to finish that game. I want to play it all the way through. But until you fix your shit, I can't.
And when we covered that game and they had implemented, we held off because, they sent us the keys and they didn't say anything. We could have just went full out when it was completely ass-busted. We're like, nope, they got the controller support thing implemented and they say it's all right, which it wasn't. And we said, fuck it, we waited long enough. Let's do this. That's why we waited on Monochroma, because the controller support. We waited, and like, it's fixed. It still wasn't. And, yeah, cheesiness and all your business. Yeah, that footage was from the footage on the damn Steam page, man. So
Yeah.
that's what I had to work with, because fuck all if I was doing any capture for that. I didn't want to be bothered with it. Yeah, the mouse capture. I hope they get all that sorted. Like P-Man said, it has a lot of promise, and that's what pissed me off about it. J-Man, do you have anything to add to that nightmare?
I guess if they were able to actually fix their controller support, I might go back and play the game. But there are some fundamental gameplay flaws that they need to readdress before I'd be willing to commit time to playing this game.
But you gotta admit it, a lot of people will say something about our reviews, like, oh, you're a bit entitled or you're a bit harsh. No one ever says you're technically wrong.
You're technically correct. The best kind of correct.
And on that bombshell, let's cue that music, because at the end of the day, you can always find us at LinuxGameCast.com. We have Chat Realm Dynamic going on live. Watch us live if you want. The other 6 days of the week, you can find us in Chat Realm Static, the forums section at LinuxGameCast.com. We got a YouTube channel. We're on the Twitters and all that. Speaking of that business, I'm at Vinstone on the Twitter nets, plus Vinstone on the G pluses. How are my heterosexual life partners doing? Come on, baby.
Well, I'm Jordan Svung. You can find me at The Burning Fool on Twitter, or plus Jordan Svung on the group plus.
Yes. I'm Peter Mateus. You can find me at Unaccounted4 on Twitter, or plus Peter Mateus on Google Plus.
And I just came.
So I guess, even though we've done this before, but we just need a good screen cap of our beta goats. Maybe we'll do the goats in stereo next week. Who knows? Good on you, Rod. Dying a fire.
Smoke time!
Woohoo!
Let's do drugs. I mean,
There are actually goats.
like more drugs than we normally do.
Woohoo! Hi, NSA. No, I won't find you under a rock, Lanka.